Chapter 121, The Dark Race is Excited. Yili was somewhat puzzled. The strength of these Dark Race members wasn't high, they were all just third-tier evolved beings. How did they manage to attack Huangjiang Base City? After thinking for a moment, Yili understood. The powerful Dark Race members were probably not in Pan City anymore. They didn't seem to have any intention to continue attacking Huangjiang Base City. Yili couldn't help but smile. These third-tier evolved beings from the Dark Race actually thought that he should be the one to face his fate. Who was the one facing fate, after all? If he were alone, defeating dozens of Dark Race members would be impossible no matter how skilled he was. But now, things were different, he had the Apocalypse Legion. Human, one suppose you are an evolved being too. Are you planning to resist? A Minotaur looked at Yili with a playful expression. Yili shook his head slowly. I'm not planning to resist. Then come over here and let us eat you, the Minotaur continued. The faces of the dozens of Dark Race members were filled with smiles. They knew that this human evolved being was as good as dead. Again, Yili shook his head. You can't eat me. Upon hearing this, the Dark Race members were puzzled. They couldn't understand why this human evolved being, who wasn't planning to resist, wouldn't let them eat him. What was he planning to do? Are you planning to run? A Soul Race member asked in doubt. Once again, Yili shook his head. I'm not planning to run. The dozens of Dark Race members looked at each other, all equally puzzled. They couldn't fathom what this human was up to. Human, stop pretending. You're as good as dead now. Die, a heavy sword-wielding undead shouted angrily. As soon as he finished speaking, the heavy sword-wielding undead swung his sword towards Yili with great force. Yili inwardly chuckled. Why were there so many reckless people in the world? Swish! The dragon-slaying blade slashed out, emitting a cold light in an instant. Clang! The dragon-slaying blade struck the heavy sword of the undead, and the heavy sword was instantly split into pieces. What? The heavy sword-wielding undead was shocked. He couldn't believe that Yili's blade was so terrifying. Looking at the blade in Yili's hand, it radiated cold brilliance and had a 5-clawed blood dragon carved on it, as if one could hear the roars of dragons and the sound of blades from it. Is that the dragon-slaying blade? A Soul Race member exclaimed in disbelief. Upon hearing this, the dozens of Dark Race members trembled. The dragon-slaying blade? Their purpose in coming to Huangjiang Base City was to find the dragon-slaying blade. However, no matter how hard they looked, they couldn't find it. As a peak of the Dark Forces, the Dark Temple had been searching for the whereabouts of the 10 great divine weapons throughout the continent. This wasn't limited to just Annan Base City and Huangjiang Base City, every place had members of the Dark Race looking for the dragon-slaying blade. Ha ha ha! The dozens of Dark Race members burst into laughter, swearing that they had never been so happy in their lives. I never expected it to be so effortless. The treasure we sought is in our hands, a heavy sword-wielding undead laughed coldly. Why are you laughing? Yili looked puzzled. Humph. The heavy sword-wielding undead snorted, why are we laughing? We're laughing because the dragon-slaying blade in your hands will soon be ours. Yili nodded. So, you think you've got me all figured out? Naturally. You're just one person. What kind of waves can you stir up? A Minotaur sneered. Chapter 122, Crisis in Annan Base City. Yili's face remained as calm as water as he looked at the dozens of Dark Race members before him. Lai truly admired their courage, they actually wanted to snatch the dragon-slaying blade from him. As one of the 10 great divine weapons, it was natural for the Dark Race to desire the dragon-slaying blade. Unfortunately, dead people couldn't snatch it. Since you want to take the dragon-slaying blade, come and show me your strength, Yili said calmly to the Dark Race members. Upon hearing this, the Dark Race members rushed towards Yili. However, as they took a few steps forward, they were forced to retreat dozens of meters in an instant. This was because several zombies had appeared by Yili's side. They were naturally Da, Hongye, Bai Wawa, and Yutong. 3 5th-tier zombies and 1 4th-tier zombie. A heavy sword-wielding undead exclaimed in astonishment. The dozens of dark race members all swallowed hard, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Come on. Since you were so arrogant just now, come and take the dragon-slaying blade from me and bring glory to your masters. Come over. Let me, Yili, see what you're capable of. What's wrong? Are you afraid now? Yili shouted loudly. The dozens of dark race members looked at each other, unable to comprehend the situation. They really didn't understand. This human didn't emit any aura of the dark race, so how could he control such high-level zombies? Human, don't be too arrogant. When our leaders return from Anan Base City, one guarantee you'll die a miserable death. The undead's words made Yili slightly stunned. They went to Anan Base City. Suddenly, he remembered the strange signal that Stone Yuan had sent out before he died. Could it be? Thinking of this, Yili understood. No wonder there were so few zombies in Pan City. It turned out that they had all gone to Anan Base City. Then what about Anan Base City? The strength of Anan Base City wasn't strong. They were probably under siege right now. Yili knew he had to hurry back, otherwise, Anan Base City would fall sooner or later. Kill them, then return to Anan Base City. After giving the order to the Apocalypse Legion, Yili activated the swift steps and flew towards Anan Base City. During the journey, Yili opened the Point Mall. Then he saw a berserk potion, which was meant for humans. It could increase one's strength by 10 times and cost 50,000 points per bottle. Yili planned to buy it when he arrived in Anan Base City. The swift step speed was as swift as the wind, covering 10,000 kilometers during the day and 8,000 kilometers at night. After half a day, Yili arrived at Anan Base City. Under the outer walls of Anan Base City, there were already mountains of corpses and rivers of blood. Countless zombies were attacking the outer walls, and some dark race members were attacking from the sky. The military used laser cannons and laser guns to resist, while Kang Lin and Yun Mu were counterattacking on the city walls. The entire outer wall seemed to be on the verge of collapse. Yili knew he had to hurry. With a light tap of his foot, he leaped into the air. Drawing out the dragon-slaying blade, he used the flame blade technique fiercely. The B-grade skill, flame blade technique, unleashed countless fire blades towards the battlefield below. After a few strikes, Yili put the dragon-slaying blade back into the system space and began to synthesize the zombies. These zombies had come from Pan City, and they were all ordinary zombies ranging from level 3 to level 5. After synthesizing over 60 zombies, Yili had them madly attack the other zombies on the battlefield. Chapter 123, Struggling to Hold On, Lord Kong, we can't hold on much longer. A general looked at Kang Lin and said. Kang Lin looked at the countless zombies below and felt like the sky was about to collapse. The ferocity of these zombies was something he had never seen before, and there were so many dark race members as well. President, one think Anan Base City is going to be taken by them, Yun Mu sighed. If the outer city of Anan Base City were breached, the millions of ordinary civilians in the main city would be directly exposed to zombies, and Anan Base City would undoubtedly become an infected area. In the sky, several aircraft were once again shot down by the dark race members. Fight with all your might. Even if we die, we must hold back the zombies. Kang Lin roared angrily. Yes, Lord Kong. On the ground, the zombies were launching a frenzied attack, piling up to climb the city walls. In mid-air, the dark bird race spewed out evil light attacks from their mouths at the city walls. Countless aircraft were shot down. In such a situation, armored vehicles couldn't possibly come out, otherwise, the zombies would seize the opportunity to rush into the city. Yili's hand speed was as fast as lightning as he frantically synthesized zombies in his mind. However, the effect was not ideal, and the progress was slow, which was inconsequential to the massive horde of zombies. Yili ordered these zombies to continue attacking other zombies. He leaped onto the city walls. As he leaped, numerous laser guns and laser cannons were fired at him, but fortunately, he had the swift steps. Mr. Yi. Both Kang Lin and Yunmu widened their eyes. They never expected Yili to appear at this moment. Yili didn't reply but opened the point mall in his mind. Then, he spent 50,000 points to buy a bottle of berserk potion. After drinking the berserk potion, Yili's whole body turned red. With the ancient devil tome, he could already contend with a 5th-tier evolved being using the dragon-slaying blade. Now, with the berserk potion, he was unafraid of even 6th-tier evolved beings. Kang Lin and Yunmu were shocked to see the change in Yili's body. Yili looked at the countless zombies piling up against the city walls. Suddenly, he leaped several meters into the air, raising the dragon-slaying blade high and roaring, flame blade technique. Countless fire blades shot towards the zombies, greedily devouring them. The zombies climbing up to the city walls vanished instantly. These zombies had been melted, so Yili couldn't synthesize them. He could only synthesize the ones that hadn't died. Taking advantage of this time, Yili continued to synthesize the over 60 defeated zombies. Now he had more than 200. He ordered the 200 zombies to continue attacking other zombies. After giving the order, Yili jumped off the city walls. The dragon-slaying blade was ablaze, and wherever it went, no grass was left. Kang Lin saw this and quickly shouted, "Quick! Release the armored vehicles." Immediately, the inner gate opened, and thousands of armored vehicles charged out. These armored vehicles rushed towards the massive horde of zombies like rampaging bulls, looking unstoppable. The Dark Race members quickly attacked the armored vehicles, and their attacks were so fierce that dozens of armored vehicles were instantly destroyed. Yili continued to use the dragon-slaying blade to cut zombies, but there were just too many of them. A conservative estimate put their numbers at over 100,000. Moreover, there were also thousands of 3rd to 4th-tier Dark Race members. Such a formidable force gathered together was truly terrifying. The thousands of armored vehicles briefly resisted the zombies' charge, crushing many of them. However, amidst the enormous horde of zombies and the encirclement of the Dark Race, the armored vehicles were like live targets. Chapter 124, 10 bottles of berserk potion. Thousands of armored vehicles were all destroyed by the Dark Race and zombies, and the massive horde of zombies once again charged frantically. Yili swung dozens of flame blade strikes, but these zombies scattered too widely, rendering his efforts almost ineffective. After jumping onto the city wall, Yili synthesized the defeated zombies, and now he had over 1,000 zombies. These zombies were all on the outskirts and couldn't break through. Just then, Ada, Hongye, Baiwawa, and Yutong arrived. Yili ordered them to come up to the city wall. The 4 members of the Apocalypse Legion jumped onto the city wall, leaving Kang Lin and Yunmu in shock. But before they could react, Yili and them had already jumped off the city wall. Ada, Hongye, Baiwawa, and Yutong began to attack the surging zombies fiercely. Yili jumped several meters into the air and struck again with several slashes. The fire blades crazily devoured the zombies, creating a scene of carnage. After landing, Yili started to synthesize the zombies. The attacks of the 4 members of the Apocalypse Legion were fierce, and the progress was much faster. In a short time, Yili synthesized over 1,000 zombies again. Now, with over 1,000 zombies surrounding him, Yili ordered them to charge forward. At this moment, the effect of the berserk potion wore off. Yili's flame blade technique weakened significantly, but he didn't think much of it. He opened the point A4. And bought another bottle of berserk potion, which he then drank. The thousands of zombies were like ants among the massive horde, dying in an instant. Over 3,000 zombies had already accumulated on the outer perimeter, but it was still far from enough. The attacks of Ada, Hongye, Baiwawa, and Yutong were noticed by the Dark Race. The Dark Race members rushed over and engaged them in battle. Now, They were unable to attack other zombies. The soldiers on the city walls frantically suppressed the attacking zombies with firepower, but Anan Bay City was too small, and they were clearly outmatched. Ah! Yili roared furiously. He spent 500,000 points to buy 10 bottles of berserk potion. He drank them all, and now Yili was like a true devil. His hair turned red and stood on end. His upper body clothes and pants were all stretched open, revealing a body like a coiling dragon, with a terrifying red color that was shocking to see. Kill! Yili's voice thundered, and even his breath shook the heavens. A slash was struck out, horrifying beyond words. The clouds hung down from the sky, and the waters from the 4 seas stood tall. The Dark Race members who fought with the Apocalypse Legion were instantly melted by the sea of flames. Yili activated swift steps and shuttled back and forth among the massive horde of zombies, his speed beyond what the naked eye could capture. How is this possible? Kang Lin and Yunmu widened their eyes, looking at the center of the zombie horde below, which was like flowers blooming, blood flowing continuously, giving them an incredibly shocking visual impact. The battlefield had turned into a river of blood. A 6th-tier heavy sword-wielding undead watched this scene, shocked to the point that his soul seemed to leave his body. He couldn't understand why such a terrifying existence existed in this small Anan Bay city. And the sword in his hand, was the dragon-slaying blade? The 6th-tier heavy sword-wielding undead was the leader of this attack on Anan Bay City, and their goal was naturally to seize the dragon-slaying blade. The message that Shi Yuan sent before his death was that the dragon-slaying blade was in Anan Bay City. The 6th-tier heavy sword-wielding undead had thought that the dragon-slaying blade would be easily obtained, but he never expected that its owner would be so terrifying. Chapter 125, The Dark Race's Frantic Retreat. Retreat! Retreat! The 6th-tier heavy sword-wielding undead hurriedly shouted. If they didn't retreat now, all the zombies would be slaughtered. Over 1,000 Dark Race members were frantically retreating, and the zombies started running as well. Unfortunately, the zombies couldn't run as fast as the Dark Race. Yili felt his strength rapidly depleting. He took advantage of this time to continue synthesizing the defeated zombies. There were too many zombies defeated by the Apocalypse Legion now. And he still had thousands of zombies on the outskirts that defeated countless others. After more than 10 minutes, Yili had synthesized all these zombies. He synthesized over 20,000 zombies. These zombies were all ordinary 3rd to 5th level ones, much stronger than the level 1 zombies. Over 30,000 fleeing zombies were synthesized by Yili with the Apocalypse Legion zombies. Ada evolved to a 6th-tier zombie. Hongya evolved to a 6th-tier zombie. Baiwawa evolved to a 6th-tier zombie. Yutong evolved to a 6th-tier zombie. Ding! Due to the host's mass slaughter of zombies, congratulations on obtaining a super grand treasure chest. Would you like to open it? Open it, Yili said weakly. Congratulations on obtaining a super evolution pill. Yili didn't bother to read the description of the super evolution pill, he believed it must be good. After taking the super evolution pill, his body underwent a qualitative change. Ding! Congratulations, the host has become a 6th-tier evolved being. Yili was surprised. He thought the super evolution pill would only be decent, but he never expected it to be so powerful. Jumping 2 tiers in one go was simply terrifying. However, before Yili could celebrate, he passed out. Drinking 10 bottles of berserk potion consecutively had caused severe damage to his body. Kang Lin and Yunmu stood on the city wall, looking at the scene below. They quickly jumped down and helped Yili up. The 6th-tier heavy sword-wielding undead led over 1,000 Dark Race members and 100,000 zombies to attack Anan Bay City. But then Yili appeared. Supporting the great building on the verge of collapse, reversing the tide on the brink of defeat. Kang Lin quickly had someone take Yili to the ambulance and then rushed towards the inner city. Ada, Hongya, Baiwawa, and Yutong followed beside Yili, Kang Lin and Yunmu had been terrified at first, but they realized that these 4 high-level zombies did not harbor any hostility. Thinking back to the scene where Yili and the 4 high-level zombies joined forces against the enemy, they couldn't forget it for a long time. Could it be? Is Mr. Yu really a member of the dark race? But it seemed irrelevant now. If it weren't for Yili, Annan Bay City would have fallen a long time ago. Yili had been recuperating in the first hospital of Annan Bay City for a whole month before waking up. During this month, Kang Lin and Yunmu were busy with the defense of Annan Bay City. The losses caused by the previous massive horde of zombies attacking the city were severe. The scene of Yili defending the city was captured by fearless journalists who risked their lives to film it. The footage was broadcasted repeatedly on major TV stations in Annan Bay City. Outside Yili's ward stood countless people who wanted to see the hero who protected Annan Bay City with their own eyes. Unfortunately, 4 6th-tier zombies were guarding outside the ward. The eyes of the 6th-tier zombies were red, and after they evolved, their appearance became even more appealing, especially Hongye and Yutong. The zombification on Hongye and Yutong's faces almost disappeared. If it weren't for their red eyes, ordinary people might not have recognized them as zombies. Chapter 126, Yili wakes up. Hongye, why hasn't Senior woken up yet? Xiao Hui looked at Hongye with a worried expression. Hongye ignored Xiao Hu's words and didn't respond. Mei Lin and Yun Man felt desolate. On the day Chen Ba besieged the Yun family, they stood by Chen Ba's side because they believed Yili was a member of the dark race. They still vividly remembered the words Yili said when he left, "All of you are living, breathing human beings. Since you have already made your choice, you will take your path, and I will take mine." But now, in the face of a crisis in Annan Bay City, Yili had come forward resolutely. Dark race. Ha! Mei Lin and Yun Man suddenly found themselves somewhat ridiculous. At that time, only Xiao Hui believed in Yili. Yili opened his eyes and felt a dizzying headache. After rubbing his temples, his vision cleared. He found himself lying on a sickbed, and as he looked at his hands, excitement filled his face. I never expected that after taking the super evolution pill, one would become a 6th-tier evolved being. That's quite something. Yili thought about Ada and the others, who were now 6th-tier zombies, but he knew their strength was far from enough. He knew that there were transcenders above the evolved being. And above the 10th-tier mutant zombies were the special zombies. Yili yawned, got up, and pushed open the ward door. He was taken aback when he saw the crowd outside. Why were there so many people outside? Media reporters, members of Annan Bay City's influential families, and members of the Annan Council all swarmed around when they saw Yili pushing the door open. Senior. Xiao Hui happily rushed into Yili's arms. Yili patted Xiao Hu's head but felt a bit dissatisfied. Xiao Hui had an S-level genetic talent, how could she still be a level 7 awakened being? Senior, you scared me. Xiao Hui pouted. Yili smiled and then looked up, only to see Mei Lin and Yun Man looking at him with teary eyes. Mei Lin was now a 3rd-tier evolved being with an S-level talent. Yili had once speculated that she was not from Annan Bay City. Yun Man was a 1st-tier evolved being with an level talent. Mr. Yi, may I ask about your current strength? Mr. Yi, are these zombies your subordinates? The media went crazy asking questions. Yili looked at Kang Lin and said, "Tell them all to leave." As soon as Kang Lin heard this, he immediately ordered the media and members of Annan Bay City's influential families to leave. Mr. Yi, Annan Bay City is indebted to you this time. Otherwise, the consequences would have been unthinkable. Kang Lin respectfully said to Yili. Before Yili could reply, he heard a thump, and someone knelt in front of him. This person was extremely ugly, with pockmarked skin all over his face. Senior, I didn't expect to see you again. I, Qin Chi, will never forget your great kindness. After speaking, Qin Chi kowtowed to Yili. Yi smiled and, after asking a few questions, found out that Qin was now a member of the Anan Council. After Yi made Qin the leader of the White Lotus sect, he repented and decided to be a good person. He surrendered to Anan Base City and became a member of the Anan Council, which was also considered an honor for his family. Come with me. Yi looked at Mei Lin. Mei Lin was taken aback. Obviously, she didn't expect Yi to say this to her. Yi took Mei Lin into the ward and looked at her, asking, "You're not from Anan Base City, are you?" He had wanted to ask for a long time but hadn't had the chance. Chapter 127, Mei Lin's original name is Qian Rushue. Mei Lin paused and then nodded, though she didn't know how Yi could tell. I am indeed not from Anan Base City. 1 am the daughter of the 10th elder of the Warrior Alliance, and my name is not Mei Lin. Mei Lin told Yi, what is your name? Yi asked slowly. Qian Rushue, Mei Lin said. Yi smiled, thinking that the name was quite nice. What is your purpose for coming to Anan Base City? Yi asked. Qian Rushue pondered for a few seconds and then looked at Yi to find the dragon-slaying blade. Yi naturally knew that Qian Rushue must have had a purpose for coming to Anan Base City, but he hadn't expected it to be for the dragon-slaying blade. Since you know that the dragon-slaying blade is in my hands, why didn't you report it to the Warrior Alliance? Yi asked slowly. Qian Rushue didn't know how to answer. She indeed hadn't reported it to the Warrior Alliance because Yi had saved her life. In half a month, Cloud Peak Academy will come to recruit students in Anan Base City. Xiao Hui and Yun Man will probably go to Cloud Peak Academy, and one will also return to the Warrior Alliance. Yi thought that the dragon-slaying blade was indeed a tricky weapon. The Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead had known that he had the dragon-slaying blade, and he couldn't stay in Anan Base City all the time. What should he do? Yi thought he needed to stir up some trouble in Huangjiang Base City, otherwise, the dark race would surely attack Anan Base City again. Let's go out. Soon, Yi and Qian Rushue left the ward. Yi followed the group to the Yun family, where Yunmu treated Yi with the best feast. Senior, Yun Man and I are planning to go to Cloud Peak Academy. What do you think? Xiao Hui asked Yi. Cloud Peak Academy was one of the 3 major academies established by the Warrior Alliance, attracting many elite youths in the apocalypse. Very good. People go to higher places, and water flows to lower places, Yi said slowly. But senior, one don't want to leave you. One want to see you often, Xiao Hui said unhappily. Yi smiled, don't worry, it won't be long before you can see me frequently. After the meal, Yi left Anan Base City. Although Xiao Hui, Yun Man, and Qian Rushue were reluctant to part with him, he had to do it. After leaving Anan Base City, Yi used the swift steps to rush towards Huangjiang Base City. After reaching Pan City, Yi released Alda and the others. After the zombies that attacked Anan Base City retreated, more zombies appeared in Pan City. When the zombies saw humans, they naturally rushed over. Alda immediately knocked down hundreds of zombies in an instant. Yi used the synthesis grid in his mind to synthesize these zombies. He came to Anan Base City to stir up trouble and let the Dark Race know that he had arrived in Pan City. As he synthesized zombies along the way, he continued to advance. Before long, he encountered a member of the Dark Race. It was another humanoid mantis creature, and Yi couldn't help but chuckle. The humanoid mantis creature was dumbfounded when he saw Yi, as if he had seen a ghost. He had followed the Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead in attacking Anan Base City and would never forget the extraordinary demeanor of Yi that day. Now, that same person was standing in front of him. You. The third-tier humanoid mantis creature couldn't even speak a complete sentence. Die. Yi said slowly. What other fate awaited the humanoid mantis creature, except for death? Chapter 128, Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead Yili swung the dragon-slaying blade, and the humanoid mantis creature bid farewell to this world forever. Yili let Ada and the others attract zombies while he continued to synthesize. Soon, he synthesized a Tier 1 male zombie and a Tier 1 female zombie. Roar! A furious roar suddenly echoed in Yili's ears. After the roar, a minotaur appeared beside Yili. It was actually a Tier 4 minotaur. The minotaur held a huge axe and stared at Yili fiercely. "Human, I didn't expect you to dare to come to Pan City." Yili was somewhat puzzled. This minotaur was only Tier 4, yet he dared to appear in front of Yili. This was very different from the humanoid mantis creature from earlier. "Shut up. Just call all of your people out," Yili said slowly to the Tier 4 minotaur. The minotaur sneered, "Human, you really have some guts." Afterward, more than 10 minotaurs appeared in front of Yili, ranging from Tier 3 to Tier 4. Yili was surprised. How could they dare to appear with such weak strength? "Human, are you afraid?" The Tier 4 minotaur looked proudly at Yili. Yili found it somewhat boring and looked at the minotaur indifferently. "What makes you think you can challenge my Apocalypse Legion?" He thought that this Tier 4 minotaur must be a fool, otherwise, it wouldn't act like this. "Kill them." Yili ordered the Apocalypse Legion, and they instantly attacked the minotaurs. These more than 10 minotaurs were shocked. The Tier 4 minotaur hurriedly shouted, "My lord, help." But no one came to their aid, and the more than 10 minotaurs were instantly killed by Ada and the others. Yili smiled faintly, then turned his head slightly to look behind him. "Come out. How long do you want to hide?" "Not bad. The owner of the dragon-slaying blade is indeed formidable." A strange voice reached Yili's ear. Yili fixed his eyes and found that it was the Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead that attacked Anan Base City. Now that Yili was already a Tier 6 evolved being, and Ada and the others were all Tier 6 zombies, this Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead was nothing to be feared. The Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead kept staring at the dragon-slaying blade in Yili's hand. Although there was no flesh on the skeleton's face, it still revealed a greedy smile. "Human, hand over the dragon-slaying blade, and I might spare your life." The Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead stared at Yili and said. Yili smiled calmly, "Just with you, it's far from enough." "Hee hee." The Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead sneered. "What if we join in?" Suddenly, another voice rang. Yili followed the voice and saw that various dark race members from Pan City had arrived. Over 1,000 Tier 3 to Tier 4 dark race members surrounded Yili. Still not enough. Yili shook his head slowly. The Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead was enraged. "Human, although you have 3 Tier 6 zombies, we have so many people, and we won't be afraid of you." "Not enough, not enough," Yili said, shaking his head. The Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead stared fixedly at Yili. "In front of my Apocalypse Legion, not to mention you small fries, even if your master comes, what do I, Yili, have to fear?" Yili said calmly. Hearing this, the Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead became so angry that it gnashed its teeth. "Attack!" With the Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead's command, over 1,000 dark race members surrounded the Apocalypse Legion. Chapter 129, on a killing spree. Following the Tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead's command, over 1,000 dark race members rushed towards Yili. The dragon-slaying blade in Yili's hand was already radiating a chilling aura. Ada, Hongyi, Baiwawa, and Yutong were ready, waiting for Yili's orders. "Attack!" Yili coldly shouted. They were all at Tier 6 now, and these dark race members were at most Tier 3 or Tier 4, high. Yili's eyes, they were pitifully weak. Swish! 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 Yili swung his blades several times, and a chilling aura struck first, followed by a surge of sword energy like a dragon. Instantly, dozens of dark race members were reduced to nothingness. Das silver fist gloves were called the supreme boxing gloves. Each punch seemed to be able to shatter the space, and with the addition of the 4 elemental powers of wind, rain, thunder, and lightning, it was truly terrifying. Hong Ye's Frost Chi, upgraded to a B-grade skill, froze the dark race members, turning them into ice sculptures. Bai Wawa's absolute defense, facing only tier 3 to 4 dark race members, was impenetrable. In addition to absolute defense, he also had the Qilin foot, which made the ground tremble with each step. With the petrification skill, Yutong was like Medusa. As beams of light shot from her eyes, she turned the dark race members into stone. Although there were over 1,000 dark race members with absolute numerical advantage, unfortunately, they were facing a force that could easily annihilate them. Ah! The wails of the dark race members kept coming, making it a chilling scene. The tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead saw this and was frightened to the core. This was too terrifying. Although they were all at tier 6, there were over 1,000 dark race members. At this moment, the situation was completely one-sided. Seeing this, the tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead couldn't help but want to retreat. It stared at the dragon-slaying blade in Yili's hand. If it obtained this blade and offered it to the Dark Temple, the rewards it would receive would be unimaginable. Yili leaped into the air, soaring more than 10 meters off the ground. Raising the dragon-slaying blade high, he shouted, "Flame blade technique." In an instant, countless blades of fire swept toward the dark race members on the ground, ruthlessly devouring them. At this point, the entire Pan City streets had turned into a sea of fire. Seeing this, the tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead couldn't help but escape in madness. It also understood one truth: Yili was a madman, a complete madman. At this moment, over 1,000 dark race members were all annihilated. Yili didn't chase after the tier 6 heavy sword-wielding undead. His goal had been achieved. They would not attack Anan Bay City again after knowing that Yili had arrived in Pan City. Ding! Congratulations, the host has obtained a chance for a random draw. Would the host like to use it? Yes. The pointer began to spin on the roulette wheel and stopped a few seconds later. Congratulations, the host has drawn a chance to upgrade all skills to grade. Yili was slightly stunned at the news. This was too heaven-defying. Without much thought, he merged the opportunity to upgrade all skills to grade. Ding! Flame Blade Technique upgraded to grade, Ancient Devil Tome upgraded to the 2nd level. Earth-Shattering Fist upgraded to grade, Wind, Rain, Thunder, and Lightning upgraded to grade. Frost Chi upgraded to grade. Absolute Defense upgraded to grade, Qilin Foot upgraded to grade. Petrification upgraded to grade. Chapter 130, Students of Cloud Peak Academy. Yili thought that with this opportunity to upgrade all skills to grade, the overall strength of the Legion of the Apocalypse had been raised to a new level. Now, the Ancient Devil Tome had also reached the 2nd level, and he even felt that he could fight a Tier 7 evolved being. After the Tier 6 skeleton undead escaped for its life, it would probably bring even more formidable dark race members. However, Yili was not afraid. Ding! Due to the host's slaughter of so many dark race members, congratulations, you have obtained a super treasure chest. Yili was delighted, thinking that this reward was a bit excessive. He opened the super treasure chest. Congratulations, the host has obtained a super treasure map. Another super treasure map. Yili's face was full of surprise. He wondered what super treasure he would discover this time. He activated the super treasure map. A set of coordinates appeared in his mind. The location was some distance away from Huangjiang Base City. Time was of the essence. Yili followed the coordinates and rushed there using swift steps. Swift Steps was incredibly fast, covering 10,000 steps during the day and 8,000 steps at night. After traveling for 3 days and 3 nights, Yili finally arrived at the destination. He looked at the place before him and found it was a primitive forest. The forest was filled with poisonous insects and fierce beasts, especially in the apocalypse, where they were all infected by the zombie virus and became even more ferocious. Yili didn't rush in. Instead, he took out a box of food from the system space and began to eat and drink. The zombies produced treasure chests every day, and after so many days, Yili's system space had accumulated many boxes of food. After finishing his meal, Yili led his Apocalypse Legion into the primitive forest. Despite it being noon, Yili felt a chilling aura and the trees inside the forest seemed strange. Not long after walking, he heard the sounds of a fight. Yili approached and found a man and a woman fighting against a girl. They were all dressed in student uniforms with the words, Cloud Peak Academy, on them. It seemed they were students from Cloud Peak Academy. Cloud Peak Academy was one of the top academies established by the Warrior Alliance, gathering the elite of the apocalypse. Lu Qingxue, I advise you to stop resisting. You can't beat us. The boy and the girl looked smug, and their vicious expressions showed they were not good people. You are taking personal revenge. This time we came out of Cloud Peak Academy to find the Heavenly Tower. Lu Qingxue said coldly. Yili was taken aback at the mention of Heavenly Tower. Could it be that the Heavenly Tower existed in this primitive forest? The Heavenly Tower was also one of the 10 great divine weapons. Both the Warrior Alliance and the Dark Temple were currently searching for the 10 great divine weapons. However, the continent was vast, and finding the 10 great divine weapons was like finding a needle in the ocean. Lu Qingxue, you have always looked down on everyone in Cloud Peak Academy. Me and Chuaning have disliked you for a long time, but we never had the chance. Now the opportunity has finally come, the girl said with a cold smile. Yili looked at the 3 people's realm. They were all Tier 2 evolved beings. With their ages, they could definitely be called geniuses among geniuses. From the spiritual energy they used during their fight, all of them possessed S-grade genetic talents. Lu Qingxue, give up resistance. You can't beat me and Chuaning. When you die, I'll tell the academy that you were killed by the Dark Race members. The girl said, unable to hold back her laughter. Chapter 131, You Can Leave, I Want to Save Her. Yili contemplated whether he should save Lu Qingxue. After a few seconds of contemplation, he decided that he should. After all, meeting someone was fate, and who knows, Lu Qingxue might even know the specific location of the Heavenly Tower. Lu Qingxue resumed her fight with the boy and the girl. They were all Tier 2 evolved beings with S-grade genetic talents. There was no way Lu Qingxue could withstand the attacks from the 2 of them. Suddenly, the girl landed a heavy palm on Lu Qingxue's body, causing her to be sent flying backward, spewing out a mouthful of blood. I told you to give up your resistance. Why don't you listen? The girl's face revealed a touch of cruelty. Yili looked at the cold expression on the girl's face and couldn't help but wonder, she was just a young girl, but why was she so heartless? Goodbye, Lu Qingxue, the Ice Queen of Cloud Peak Academy. The girl finished speaking and released a terrifying purple aura from her palm. Lu Qingxue knew that she was powerless to resist this palm and could only close her eyes, waiting for death to come. At this critical moment, a handsome figure appeared before Lu Qingxue. He stood in front of Lu Qingxue without any intention of resisting, letting the purple aura crash into his body. What? Seeing this, the boy and girl were astonished and stared at the person standing in front of Lu Qingxue. They saw a young man in his 20s, with an exceptionally handsome appearance, wearing a faint smile on his face. At the same time, Alda, Hongye, Baiwawa, and Yutong also arrived at Yili's side. The boy and girl were scared out of their wits. How is this possible? Next to this young man were 4 Tier 6 zombies. The eyes of a Tier 6 zombie were red, making them easy to identify. Lu Qingxue opened her eyes, her cold face showing surprise as she looked at the back of the person blocking in front of her. Are you a member of the dark race? The girl looked at Yi Li in horror and asked. I am Yi Li, not a member of the dark race. Yi Li shook his head slowly. However, how could the two geniuses from Cloud Peak Academy believe Yi Li's words? Since he controlled the zombies, he must be a member of the dark race. Moreover, he had 4 Tier 6 zombies with him. You can leave, I want to save her. Yi Li spoke slowly. Yi Li had no grudges against this boy and girl, and of course, he didn't mind killing them either. He didn't have any principles when doing things. Lu Qingxue, I never expected you to collude with the dark race. I really underestimated you. When I return to Cloud Peak Academy, one will definitely tell the teacher about what happened today. Chuaning, let's go. After the girl finished speaking, she prepared to leave. Wait. Yi Li suddenly called out to them. The boy and girl were stunned, turned back and looked at Yi Li in horror, fearing that he would change his mind and not let them leave. I said I'm not a member of the dark race. You don't believe me? Yi Li looked at the boy and girl calmly. The boy and girl were shocked at Yi Li's words. They saw the indifference in Yi Li's face and sensed the killing intent hidden in his eyes. There was an awe-inspiring aura surrounding him. Senior, we believe you. We believe you. That's good. You can leave. The boy and girl felt relieved at Yi Li's words and quickly fled from the scene. Yi Li turned slowly and looked at Lu Qingxue. Chapter 132:1 AM. A demon. Yi Li noticed that Lu Qingxue was very beautiful, her cold and frosty face mixed with a touch of astonishment. Come. Before Yi Li could speak, Lu Qingxue spoke first. Come. Yi Li was a little puzzled, not understanding what Lu Qingxue meant. Lu Qingxue looked at Yi Li coldly. One know you are a powerful member of the dark race, and you can even control such high-level zombies. You want to kill me, right? Then come. After speaking, Lu Qingxue closed her eyes. Yi Li shook his head inwardly, thinking, one clearly saved you, but you act like you know everything. Also, why do people always think I'm a member of the dark race? When did I say I wanted to kill you? Yi Li said. Lu Qingxue was taken aback by his words. She opened her eyes and looked at Yi Li in surprise. Yi Li knew what she was thinking, but he had no interest in finding out. He activated his healing technique, and a golden aura flowed into Lu Qingxue's wound. In an instant, Lu Qingxue's injuries healed, and the spiritual power she had previously consumed was restored. Lu Qingxue was stunned again. She couldn't understand why Yi Li would do this. Weren't members of the dark race supposed to be heartless killers? Get up and tell me where the heavenly tower is. Yi Li said calmly. After Lu Qingxue got up, she shook her head. One don't know where the heavenly tower is. We came out of Cloud Peak Academy and just wanted to try our luck here. Lu Qingxue's voice was cold, so cold that it didn't sound like a voice a person could utter. Yi Li had already guessed this, but he had just asked casually. Since the location of the super treasure map was in this primitive forest, there must be something good inside. What is this place called? Yi Li asked again. This is the Black Cloud Forest. Lu Qingxue answered. Yi Li thought for a moment. The Black Cloud Forest must be quite large. How could he find the treasure here? You really aren't a member of the dark race? Lu Qingxue couldn't help but ask. From her conversation with Yi Li, she really didn't think he was a member of the dark race. I am not a member of the dark race, but I am more formidable than the dark race. Yi Li said lightly. Lu Qingxue was once again stunned. Were there even more powerful existences beyond the dark race? If one must be classified as something, I should be considered a demon. Yi Li spoke slowly. As Yili said this, his face was calm, but Lu Qingsu's heart was thrown into waves of shock. A demon. This was a novel term she had never heard before, but it gave her a strong sense of shock. Yili felt that ever since the ancient devil tome reached the second level, he no longer felt like a human. The term demon was most suitable to describe him now. Are you leaving or staying with me? Yili asked Lu Qingxue. Lu Qingxue was very curious. She didn't understand what a demon was, but she knew that Yili was very mysterious and could control 4 tier 6 zombies. Seeing that Lu Qingxue didn't say anything, Yili took a step forward, and Ada, Hongye, Baiwawa, and Yutong followed closely. Lu Qingxue felt that Yili was emitting a demonic power that was attracting her. This was a feeling she had never experienced before. After hesitating for a few seconds, she decided to follow him. Yili thought that the Black Cloud Forest was too vast, but he didn't care, he would try his luck. He had forgotten that the Black Cloud Forest was a primitive forest filled with poisonous insects and ferocious beasts. Before him, a giant toad blocked his path. If he wanted her to believe, it was simple, prove it with facts. Roar! The diamond white ape beat its chest vigorously, and then it charged fiercely towards Yili. It seemed to be attacking first. Yili activated his heavenly spirit eyes, which could also be used offensively. In an instant, 2 beams of golden light shot out from Yili's eyes. Swish! When the diamond white ape was only a few steps away from Yili, its body suddenly stopped, its eyes full of disbelief. Lu Qingxue was dumbfounded. The diamond white ape, known for its strong defense, was actually penetrated like this? The diamond white ape fell heavily to the ground, leaving a deep pit on impact. I said I could kill it with my eyes. Yili looked at the astonished Lu Qingxue and spoke slowly. Chapter 134, Black Dragon Pool. Upon hearing Yili's words, Lu Qingxue was taken aback. When they came to the Black Cloud Forest from the Cloud Peak Academy, they had done some research on it. The biggest threat in the Black Cloud Forest was the 4th-tier diamond white ape. Its defense was extremely strong and could even fight against 5th-tier evolved beings. In other words, Lu Qingxue widened her eyes. In other words, Yili was very likely a 6th-tier evolved being. But he was only around 20 years old. Lu Qingxue was stunned, truly stunned. Such a peerless genius, not to mention meeting one, she had never even heard of anyone like that. Without dwelling on it, Yili continued forward with the Apocalypse Legion. Lu Qingxue followed closely behind and arrived at a place with standing stones resembling knives and boulders resembling tigers. There was something strange about this place. Roar! Another loud roar echoed. As the saying went, the clouds resemble dragons, while the wind is like tigers. After the roar, a huge tiger appeared. Yili had encountered a tiger during the test of the dragon-slaying blade. Thinking that he might get to eat tiger meat again, a hint of excitement appeared on his face. However, what Yili didn't expect was that it was a freaking mechanical tiger. This mechanical tiger was 10 meters long, with eyes as bright as lightning, emitting a faint cold light. Yili found it a bit boring. He had thought he could eat tiger meat again, but it turned out to be a mechanical tiger. Which one of you is going to take it down? Yili said nonchalantly. Ada, Hongye, Baiwawa, and Yutong discussed it among themselves. In the end, Ada took action. After all, he was the captain of the Apocalypse Legion. Ada's strike was truly earth-shattering. He struck the head of the mechanical tiger with the earth-shattering fist, and the 10-meter-long mechanical tiger instantly fell to the ground and died. After all, it was only in the 4th tier. Lu Qingxue was one of the geniuses of the Cloud Peak Academy and was very proud. Many geniuses of the same realm in the academy didn't like her because of her arrogance. She knew she had the capital to be proud, because she had become a second-tier evolved being at the age of 18 and had an SSS-grade genetic talent. But now she realized that her so-called pride was nothing compared to Yili. He was the sun in the sky, while she was just a grain of rice. Yili thought that Huangjiang Base City was only slightly stronger than Annan Base City. How much stronger could the creatures in the black cloud forest of Huangjiang Base City be? Behind this strange rock forest, there was an icy pool. The water in the pool was green, and one could tell at a glance that it was unfathomably deep. Senior, this is the Black Dragon Pool. It seems that there is a dragon inside, but it won't come out easily. Lu Qingce's tone became more respectful. She knew that her so-called talent was just a joke in Yili's eyes. A dragon? Yili fell silent for a few seconds, thinking about the taste of dragon meat. Thinking of this, Yili decided to explore the Black Dragon Pool. The treasure might be inside. Since there is a dragon inside, let's go down and take a look, Yili said to Lu Qingxue. Lu Qingxue was taken aback. No, senior. The water in the Black Dragon Pool is bone-chilling, and one can't resist such cold. Yili also thought it was true. The chill of the water could be seen with the naked eye. It seemed that Lu Qingxue had put in a lot of effort before coming to the Black Cloud Forest. He opened the point mall and checked if there was any solution. He originally only had 290,000 points left, but after the battle in Annan Bay City, his points increased to 800,000. Soon, a potion appeared in Yili's eyes. Water Avoidance Potion. After drinking it, one can move in water as if on land and resist extreme cold or heat. Price, 2,000 points. She had only heard that there was a dragon in the Black Dragon Pool but didn't know the specific location. Yili sighed inwardly, thinking that in the end, he had to do everything himself. Leading Ada and the others, Yili began to search at the bottom of the Black Dragon Pool. If they didn't find the dragon, the creature was lucky. But if they did, then that dragon would be doomed to an unlucky fate. Huh? Senior, there's a hole over there. Lu Qingxue pointed with her finger, looking surprised. Yili followed the direction of Lu Qingce's finger and indeed found a hole. Activating the heavenly spirit eyes, he saw that it was filled with evil energy in the hole, and there seemed to be something quite terrifying in it. A faint smile appeared on his face. He thought that the treasures from the super treasure map were probably in this hole. Chapter 136, 7th Tier Black Dragon. Let's go and take a look, Yili said calmly. The group then walked to the entrance of the cave. After drinking the water avoidance potion, walking at the bottom of the pool was like walking on land. Yili looked at the entrance of the cave. It was not large, but definitely not small. Waves of evil energy emanated from inside, making people shudder in fear. Senior, why do I feel this cave is so terrifying? Lu Qingxue looked at Yili with horror. Lu Qingxue was only a second-tier evolved being, and even Yili felt there was something terrifying inside, not to mention Lu Qingxue. I'll protect you, Yili looked at Lan Qingxue and said. Lan Qingxue was somewhat startled, looking at Yili's face, unsure how to interpret his words. I'll protect you. In other words, he was reassuring her that as long as he was around, she would be safe, right? For some reason, Lan Qingxue felt a fluttering sensation in her heart, like a little deer leaping in her heart. Her originally icy cold face turned slightly rosy. And Yili naturally noticed this scene. Though he had recently transmigrated to this parallel world, whether it was Yun Man, Qian Ruxue, Xiao Hui, Su Suner, or Lu Qian, wasn't the way they looked at him the same as how Lan Qingxue did. Although he didn't really believe in love at first sight, he knew that Lan Qingxue had already developed feelings for him at some point unintentionally. Let's go inside, Yili said. With that, Yili and the Apocalypse Legion entered the cave, and Lu Qingxue quickly followed. Inside the cave was like a bottomless black hole, with pitch-black darkness surrounding them, making them unable to see their own fingers. An eerie feeling kept haunting them. Unfortunately, Yili had the heavenly spirit eyes, which allowed him to see in the darkness as clearly as in broad daylight. His eyes were like bright stars in the night sky. Yili kept moving forward, feeling that the evil energy was becoming stronger, and a faint light appeared ahead. Thinking that the evil creature might be close, Yili was eager to find out what it was. If it was the black dragon that had been lurking in the black dragon pool, that would be great. Lu Qingsu's face had turned pale from the extreme evil energy, and she had never been to such a terrifying place before. The light became brighter and brighter. After walking for a long time, Yili finally arrived at the source of the light. It turned out to be another hole. Yili walked out of this hole and found a whole new world outside. Lu Qingxue walked out of the hole and saw the scene before her. Her already pale face turned even paler. Before her eyes was a piece of black land covered with bones, and there were dozens of blood rivers flowing through it. The sky was densely covered with dark clouds, and black lightning struck the black land continuously. Slap, slap, slap. A black dragon dozens of meters long was flying rapidly in the cloudy sky. Yili's face remained unchanged, as if he hadn't seen the scene in front of him. Roar! The black dragon, dozens of meters long, noticed Yili's group and quickly flew to a place tens of meters away from Yili. The black dragon landed on the black land and stared coldly at Yili and his group, shooting a wicked and evil glare from its eyes. Unexpectedly, after all these years, there are still humans setting foot in this place. It has been at least several decades since I last ate a human. Yili looked at the black dragon. It was in the 7th tier. The 7th tier was indeed formidable, but not invincible. Now that he had the dragon-slaying blade and the ancient devil tome, he was confident in dealing with this dragon. Now, these 4 6th-tier zombies should attack this human. However, to the black dragon's astonishment, Ada, Hongye, Baiwawa, and Yutong stood still in place, not moving an inch. How could this be possible? The black dragon widened its eyes, unable to believe what it was witnessing. I command you to attack this human. The black dragon almost roared. Unfortunately, no matter how the black dragon yelled, Ada and the others remained motionless. Yili shook his head slowly. With the zombie synthesis system, the synthesized zombies followed his commands completely. He really didn't know where this black dragon got the courage to try and control his Apocalypse Legion. The control power of the dark race is simply incomparable to mine. You're truly ignorant. Yili said calmly, looking at the black dragon. Chapter 138, The demonic aura of the ancient devil tome. Lu Qingxue was already shocked to the extreme. She had thought that the 4 6th-tier zombies would be controlled by the black dragon. After all, the black dragon was of the dark race. However, she could never have imagined that the situation would turn out like this. Suddenly, she remembered what Yili had said to her. If I must be classified as something, I should be considered a demon. A demon. Until now, Lu Qingxue finally understood the terror of demons. Human, how did you manage to do this? The black dragon stared at Yili firmly. Although he wasn't worried about a 6th-tier evolved being and 4 6th-tier zombies, he couldn't understand why he couldn't control these 4 6th-tier zombies. After all, he was a 7th-tier dark race member. You don't deserve to know how I did it, Yili said calmly. Hearing this, the black dragon felt an unprecedented insult. As a 7th-tier powerhouse, he was actually insulted by a 6th-tier evolved being. How could he tolerate it? The dark race opened the heavenly door to this world. Only a few years later, you humans turned into zombies on a large scale, and our dark race slaughtered you humans like pigs and dogs. Now I will let you know how formidable I am. As he spoke, a sinister aura burst forth from the black dragon's entire body, and the already overcast sky became even darker, creating a terrifying sight. This was like suppressing pressure. As a 7th-tier powerhouse, the black dragon didn't need to take action, just his suppressing pressure alone could cause Yili to explode and die. All of you, step back. Yili ordered the Apocalypse Legion, and Lu Qingxue and the Apocalypse Legion stepped back. The black dragon looked at Yili smugly. He knew that Yili would not be able to withstand his terrifying pressure, simply because Yili was only a 6th-tier evolved being. However, the next scene left the black dragon in the most shocked state he had ever experienced. At this moment, Yili stood still like a statue, and his not-so-tall figure now appeared like an ancient deity. And a demonic aura emanated from his entire body. This was the demonic aura of the 2nd level of the ancient devil tome. The sinister aura approached, and the demonic aura surrounding Yili suddenly erupted. Demonic aura against sinister aura. Although the black dragon was a 7th-tier evolved being, his sinister aura was completely defeated by the demonic aura. The demonic aura advanced like lightning, hitting the black dragon. In an instant, a chill rose from his buttocks to his forehead. Well, the black dragon was shocked to the extreme. He actually felt his soul trembling. Not only the black dragon, even though Lu Qingxue was far away, she also felt her whole body trembling uncontrollably. She even felt like kneeling down. After all, this was just the 2nd level of the ancient devil tome. If it was the 3rd level, it would surely be even more terrifying. The black dragon was a tier 7 evolved being and had the power he was supposed to have. After stabilizing his mind, he realized that his pressure was useless against Yili. He stared at Yili intently. Human, one will show you the terror of me. The black dragon roared, and then he opened his big mouth, from which a black lightning force burst forth. Yili coldly smiled, taking out the dragon-slaying blade from the system space and wielding it with a powerful slash. The terrifying blade aura swept across the sky. Boom! The black lightning force was instantly blocked by this strike. Attack! Yili gave command to the Apocalypse Legion. Soon, the Apocalypse Legion launched an attack against the black dragon. Chapter 139, The Black Dragon Swallowed. Yili, Ada, Hongye, Bai Wawa, and Yutong all used their signature skills, attacking the black dragon from the directions of the east, south, west, and north respectively. Yili knew that their attacks wouldn't have much effect on the black dragon. However, he just wanted to distract the black dragon's attention. The black dragon became furious, roaring repeatedly. As a member of the dark race, he was actually being attacked by zombies, which was simply an unforgivable humiliation. The dragon-slaying blade in Yili's hand roared with raging flames, and he leaped into the air. In mid-air, the flame sword technique was unleashed. In an instant, countless fire blades attacked the black dragon. The black dragon roared fiercely, allowing the terrifying fire blades to hit its body. Yili didn't expect the black dragon's defense to be so strong that even the grade skill, flame sword technique, couldn't cause any harm to it. However, he quickly understood. After all, the black dragon was a 7th-tier creature, and the gap between 6th tier and 7th tier was like heaven and earth. Suddenly, Bai Wawa didn't pay attention and was heavily struck by the black dragon's tail, which was as strong as steel. Bai Wawa flew several hundred meters away in an instant. Fortunately, Bai Wawa's defense was strong enough, and he stood up instantly and joined the battle again. The black dragon attacked Yili fiercely at high speed. The black dragon was fast, but did that mean Yili was slow? He activated the swift steps technique, and there was no way the black dragon could catch up to Yili. In an instant, multiple phantoms appeared in mid-air, making it an extraordinary battle. Lu Qingxue was like a statue, stiffly standing in place. She had never seen such a battle before. The black dragon was indeed a 7th-tier creature, incredibly powerful in every aspect, be it strength, speed, or defense. The attacks from the Apocalypse Legion had no effect on the Black Dragon. Yili thought that the Black Dragon's defense could not withstand the dragon-slaying blade, but the key was that he couldn't get close to the Black Dragon. Boom! A deafening explosion rang out, and Ada, Hongye, Baiwawa, and Yutong were all seriously injured, lying on the ground and losing their fighting capabilities. It seemed that the outcome of this earth-shattering battle had been determined. Human, do you now realize my terror? The Black Dragon looked at Yili with pride. In his view, Yili was already a dead man. Yili stared at the Black Dragon, trying to figure out a way to slay the beast. Human, what are you hesitating for? The only fate waiting for you is to become my food, the Black Dragon continued. As he spoke, the Black Dragon opened its large mouth and lunged at Yili at an astonishing speed. Yili looked at the Black Dragon's open mouth, and at this critical moment, he came up with an idea. He stood still and made no attempt to resist, allowing the Black Dragon to approach him. When the Black Dragon's open mouth was about to touch Yili, he still made no attempt to dodge. The Black Dragon swallowed Yili in one gulp. Senior, Lu Qingxue covered her mouth. She had never expected that the Black Dragon would swallow Yili like this. It's been decades since I last ate a human. The taste is really good, the Black Dragon licked its tongue smugly. Oh, right, there's one more human. The Black Dragon's gaze shifted to Lu Qingxue. Seeing the Black Dragon staring at her, Lu Qingxue was terrified, feeling her soul leave her body. But how could she, as a second-tier evolved being, resist the Black Dragon? Run? Lu Qingxue knew that her fate was to be swallowed by the Black Dragon. She couldn't imagine that such a person existed in this world. Someone who would remain unfazed no matter what happened to them. Lu Qingxue walked to Yili's side. Everything felt like an illusion. From the moment Yili saved her, everything seemed too unreal. Yili didn't care about Lu Qingxue's thoughts. He looked at the dragon leg on the ground and thought that the Black Dragon was a member of the dark race. He didn't know if it would taste good. The key issue was that he didn't have any firewood. Yili thought for a moment, and suddenly he felt like scolding himself. Why did he need firewood when he had the flame sword technique? It was fire itself. Immediately, Yili activated the flame sword technique with the dragon-slaying blade, controlling the fire skillfully, and the flames instantly roasted the dragon leg. Seeing this scene, Lu Qingxue was once again stunned. Chapter 141, Golden Dragon Leg. Lu Qingxue saw this scene and was extremely shocked. Senior is roasting the dragon leg? Moreover, a delicious aroma wafted through the air. Lu Qingxue couldn't help but gaze at the dragon leg in the flames. She noticed that the leg had turned golden from the roasting. But this dragon is of the dark race. How could Senior dare to eat it? When the flames disappeared, the golden dragon leg had been roasted to perfection, tender on the inside and crispy on the outside. It looked absolutely delicious. Lu Qingxue couldn't help but swallow her saliva. Although the Black Dragon was of the dark race, the aroma of the roasted meat was simply irresistible. Yili had previously eaten tiger meat during the test of the dragon-slaying blade, and he still remembered the taste. Now, this dragon meat. Although it belonged to the dark race, the deliciousness of the meat made it worth trying. Without further ado, Yili tore off a large piece and then swallowed it in one gulp. Yili had never dreamed that there could be such delicious meat in the world. It melted in his mouth, leaving a lingering taste. Don't wait. Eat up. Yili said to the 4 members of the Apocalypse Legion. Yili knew that they were also foodies. He could tell from how they devoured the tiger meat during the test of the dragon-slaying blade. Ada, Hongye, Baiwawa, and Yutong all heard what Yili said and immediately started eating the dragon meat. Yutong seemed hesitant and looked at the dragon meat in the hands of Ada and the others, looking puzzled. Yutong, why aren't you eating? Yili asked, looking at Yutong. Yutong's cute little face showed some fear. Big brother, I'm afraid to eat. Yili thought that Yutong was already a 6th-tier zombie. Why was he still so timid? He was a little dissatisfied and tore off a piece of meat from the huge dragon leg and handed it to Yutong. Now, Big Brother orders you to eat. Yutong was stunned for a few seconds, then took the dragon meat from Yili's hand and took a small bite. Suddenly, a drastic change appeared on Yutong's cute little face. Big Brother, it's so delicious. Yutong looked at Yili in surprise. Yili thought, of course, it would be delicious. If I say it's delicious, then it must be delicious. Hee hee, Bai Wawa chuckled again, as if the meat was so delicious that he was on the verge of exploding. Yili looked at Bai Wawa's figure. He estimated that he weighed close to 200 jin. You should eat a little less. Huh? Yili turned around and looked at Lu Qingxue, who was still standing in place. Why aren't you coming to eat? Lu Qingxue's whole body shook upon hearing this, and she looked at Yili in astonishment. The key point was that Senior had only asked the 4 6th-tier zombies to eat just now. He didn't ask her, so she didn't dare to go over. You don't dare to eat? Yili asked slowly. Lu Qingxue quickly shook her head, obviously not because she didn't dare to eat. Then you don't want to eat? Yili continued to ask. Not that. Lu Qingxue shook her head again. Then, Yili was confused. It wasn't because she didn't dare to eat, and it wasn't because she didn't want to eat. Then why was she still standing there motionless? You didn't ask me just now, so I thought you didn't want me to eat. Lu Qingxue said, feeling a little embarrassed. When Yili and the 4 zombies were eating the dragon meat, she almost drooled. The meat was too fragrant, and she was starving. Yili smiled. This girl looked cold and aloof on the outside but was actually quite simple-minded and sweet. It was quite amusing. Come and eat. After eating, we still have to look for the treasures, Yili said slowly. Upon hearing this, Lu Qingxue finally walked towards the golden dragon leg. Chapter 142, Heavenly Tower. Yili tore off a piece of dragon meat for Lu Qingxue, and she slowly took a bite after taking it. The moment Lu Qingxue took a bite, she was amazed. She could swear that she had never eaten anything so delicious in her life. This huge dragon leg was quickly devoured by Yili's group. After finishing their meal, Yili thought they still hadn't found the treasures. Eating the dragon meat was just a small matter. Yili looked around and noticed a blood-red cave at the end of this black land. He thought that the treasures must be inside. Let's go inside that cave and take a look, Yili said calmly. Lu Qingxue nodded. At this point, she admired Yili to the point of being speechless. Immediately, Yili and the group walked toward the blood-red cave. After a short walk, they arrived at the entrance of the cave. Although the entrance was blood-red, there were waves of mystic light emanating from inside, which made Yili speculate that there must be some incredible treasures within. Thinking of this, an excited look appeared on Yili's face. Upon entering the cave, they were greeted by an intense and refreshing spiritual energy, making them feel as if they were bathed in spring breeze. The cave wasn't long, and they quickly reached its end. To Yili's surprise, the end of the cave turned out to be a sea of flames. Above the sea of flames, there was a stone platform with a small tower on it. The small tower had 7 levels. At the moment, the black and quaint tower was releasing waves of mystic light. Lu Qingxue looked at the small tower on the stone platform. She was first astonished, but then seemed to recall something, and she exclaimed in surprise, "Could this be the Heavenly Tower?" The Heavenly Tower, one of the 10 great divine weapons, capable of suppressing everything. Upon hearing Lu Qingxue's words, Yili was also slightly taken aback. Heavenly Tower. Could the treasure in the super treasure map be the heavenly tower? Thinking of this, Yili became quite excited. Ding! The divine artifact heavenly tower detected, please collect it. At that moment, the voice of the system echoed in Yili's mind. Hearing the system's words, Yili felt relieved. The dark race had been trying to find the 10 great divine weapons and uncover the hidden secrets within them ever since the apocalypse began. Unfortunately, even if they racked their brains, they couldn't find a single divine artifact. Yet here he was, Yili, possessing 2 divine artifacts. Who could have imagined that? Yili leaped and jumped onto the stone platform, retrieving the heavenly tower. Back on the ground, Yili looked at the heavenly tower in his hand. The hidden power within it was terrifying, and the tower was quite heavy, making it difficult for Yili to hold. Senior, is this the heavenly tower? Lu Qingxue curiously asked. Yili nodded. Yes, it is. Lu Qingxue was startled. She came to the Black Cloud Forest for the heavenly tower, but she didn't know if it even existed here. She had just come to try her luck. How could she have imagined that the heavenly tower would truly be here? Yili put the heavenly tower into the system space. He couldn't expose the fact that he had the heavenly tower, or he would become a target. Let's leave now, Yili said. Their purpose had been achieved, and there was no reason to stay here any longer. Lu Qingxue nodded, and then she and Yili left the blood-red cave. Continuing forward, Yili's group reached the bottom of the Black Dragon Pool, and then they left the Black Dragon Pool. Chapter 143, Heading to Huangjiang Bay City. Yili and Lu Qingxue returned to the land, and Yili stored all Da and the others in the system space. Lu Qingxue was surprised. She looked around, but the 4 tier 6 zombies that were by her side just moments ago had suddenly disappeared. Could this be another ability of a demon? Lu Qingxue secretly glanced at Yili's calm face and thought to herself that Senior is truly an all-around talented person. Senior, where are you planning to go now? Lu Qingxue asked, but immediately regretted it. A person as high level as Senior surely comes and goes as they please, and it's not her place to ask. After some thought, Yili replied, Huangjiang Bay City. Since he had nothing else to do, visiting Huangjiang Bay City would be a good idea, and they could also pass by a few small towns to synthesize zombies. You're also going to Huangjiang Bay City? Lu Qingxue was shocked, clearly not expecting that Yili would be heading there as well. What? Are you also going? Yili looked at Lu Qingxue, wondering if she should be returning to the Cloud Peak Academy. Could it be that Lu Qingxue didn't dare to go back? After all, during their time in the Black Cloud Forest, he saved Lu Qingxue, and the 2 men she was with naturally thought he was a member of the dark race. If they reported this to the academy? Yili shook his head inwardly. He didn't understand why he was thinking so much. Since when did he, Yili, need to think so much before doing anything? In fact, I'm from the Lu family in Huangjiang Bay City, Lu Qingxue said softly. Yili understood upon hearing her words. Lu Qingxue, Lu Qian. What a small world. In that case, let's go together, Yili said calmly. Lu Qingxue didn't expect that Yili would invite her to go with him. A deep astonishment appeared on her fair face. After a few seconds of contemplation, Lu Qingxue looked up and firmly said to Yili, Please rest assured, Senior, I will never reveal what happened today. Yili didn't respond. He could answer, but it wasn't necessary. Shortly after, Yili and Lu Qingxue headed in the direction of Huangjiang Bay City. They arrived at a small town, and Yili didn't know the name of the town, but he knew they were not far from Huangjiang Bay City. Senior, there are zombies ahead, Lu Qingxue said as she looked ahead. Roar! Roar! In front of them, hundreds of zombies appeared. All of them seemed to be level 3 zombies. Senior, what should we do? Lu Qingxue felt somewhat panicked. With her being only a Tier 2 evolved being, it would be impossible for her to deal with so many zombies. Yili smiled faintly. Do you think they can even touch a single hair on my head? Hearing this, Lu Qingxue finally relaxed. She believed that with Yili's strength, he wouldn't fear these ordinary zombies. Yili looked at the approaching horde of zombies and didn't bother calling Ada and the others. Instead, he calmly raised his fingers, and golden light shot out like a machine gun. Swish! 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 Countless sounds of breaking wind were heard. In an instant, hundreds of zombies fell to the ground, howling in pain, because each of their thighs had a horrifying blood hole. Yili activated the synthesis grid in his mind and began to combine these zombies. In no time, he synthesized a level 10 male zombie and a level 10 female zombie from the hundreds of level 3 zombies. He checked the zombies in the system space and found that there were already level 10 male and female zombies present. Chapter 144. Let's visit your home. Yili synthesized the 2-level IO male zombies and the 2-level 10 female zombies into a Tier 1 male zombie and a Tier 1 female zombie. Lu Qingxue was astonished. What was happening? She quickly rubbed her eyes as if not believing that all of this was real. She vividly remembered that there were hundreds of ordinary zombies just a moment ago. How did they suddenly turn into a level IO male zombie and a level 10 female zombie in the blink of an eye? Then, in another blink of an eye, the level 10 male and female zombies turned into Tier 1 ones. Was this also a demon's ability? However, this was too heaven-defying. The dark race could only control zombies, but Senior could not only control zombies but also make them level up? The shock in Lu Qingxue's heart at this moment couldn't be described in words. Seeing the astonishment on Lu Qingxue's face, Yili shook his head inwardly. He had told her never to be surprised because everything he did was enough to amaze someone for 3 days and 3 nights. But it seemed that Lu Qingxue couldn't quite understand what he meant. Yili continued walking, and not long after, he produced another Tier 1 male zombie and another Tier 1 female zombie. Now he had 2 Tier 1 male zombies and 2 Tier 1 female zombies, and he continued to synthesize them. Now he had a Tier 2 male zombie and a Tier 2 female zombie. He checked the number of zombies he had now: Apocalypse Legion, Ada, Hongye, Baiwawa, Yutong. Male zombies: 1 Tier 3 male zombie, 1 Tier 2 male zombie. Female zombies: 1 Tier 3 female zombie, 1 Tier 2 female zombie. The overall strength was not bad, but still far from enough. After all, there were Tier 7 evolved beings in Huangjiang Base City. However, in Huangjiang Base City, the Tier 7 evolved being was Su Suner's grandfather, Su Changfeng, who was the backbone of Huangjiang Base City. He was very important to Huangjiang Base City. Yili had saved Su Changfeng's life, but he didn't expect that Su Changfeng would do anything for him. After all, people have their own agendas, especially in this apocalyptic world. Yili and Lu Qingxue finally arrived at the outskirts of Huangjiang Base City. The military in the outer city was equipped with many high-tech weapons, making it much more advanced than the Annan Base City. Yili and Lu Qingxue entered the outer city. Huangjiang Base City was much larger and more prosperous than Annan Base City. Senior, what are you going to do now? Lu Qingxue didn't finish her sentence as she looked at Yili cautiously, fearing that her words might upset him. Let's go visit your home, Yili said calmly. Lu Qingxue was stunned. She couldn't believe that Yili would say such a thing. Why, do you think I, Yili, am not worthy of visiting your Lu family? Yili looked at Lu Qingxue, his face showing a hint of playfulness. Lu Qingxue recovered from her daze and quickly said, No, Senior, it's an honor for you to visit the Lu family. The Lu family ranked second among the families in Huangjiang Base City. The family head, Lu Xinghe, was a Tier 6 evolved being with astonishing strength. Following Lu Qingxue, Yili arrived at the outside of the Liu family's residence. The Liu family's building had a classical design, similar to those wealthy families shown on television. Two teenagers came out at that moment, looking at Lu Qingxue and becoming somewhat stunned. Then they quickly said, "Sister Qingxue, you're back." Lu Qingxue nodded, and her face became cold again. She didn't respond to the two youngsters from the Liu family but looked at Yili Sr., "Let's go inside." Chapter 145, Lu Qingxue, Lu Qian. The two Liu family's disciples were shocked. They felt that they had heard wrong. Sister Qingxue, who had always been arrogant, actually called this person senior. Before Lu Qingxue went to the Cloud Peak Academy, she was the absolute #1 genius in the Huangjiang base city. She was very arrogant, and not many of the younger generation in the Huangjiang base city caught her eye. But now, Lu Qingxue actually called Yili senior. How could the two Liu family disciples not be surprised? They didn't intend to go out. Instead, they hurriedly ran in as if to report. The Liu family was naturally huge, with pavilions, towers, small bridges, and flowing water, creating a unique charm. At this moment, the younger generation of the Liu family came out to welcome Lu Qingxue. There were more than 30 of them, and most of them were level 8 to level 9 awakened beings. Sister Qingxue, is Cloud Peak Academy on vacation? Sister Qingxue, can you tell us about the Cloud Peak Academy? That's right, Sister Qingxue. Cloud Peak Academy is about to recruit students again. We want to know more about it. The younger generation of the Liu family looked at Lu Qingxue and said. It was obvious that they yearned for Cloud Peak Academy. However, when it came to the admissions of the Cloud Peak Academy, Yili couldn't help but think of Xiao Hui and Yun Man. They were going to the Cloud Peak Academy. Qian Ruxue had said that she would leave after Xiao Hui and Yun Man went to the Cloud Peak Academy. Lu Qingxue clearly didn't like such a scene. Faced with the questions of these cousins, she seemed to be at a loss. Sister, you're back. An excited voice sounded in everyone's ears. Yili naturally knew this voice because it was not someone else's voice, but Lu Qian's. Lu Qian jogged to Lu Qingxue's side and looked at her happily. Sister, one really missed you. Qian, one just passed by the Huangjiang base city and came back to take a look, Lu Qingxue said. Lu Qian was very happy. She worshipped her sister. The scene of her sister beating up the hedonistic children of Huangjiang base city before she went to the Cloud Peak Academy was still vivid in her mind. Lu Qian looked around, and the smile on her face instantly froze. Senior. Lu Qian was horrified. That day in Pan City, she and Suner already knew how terrifying Yili was. She had thought that they would never meet again, but she didn't expect Yili to appear in front of her at this moment. Yili stood upright where he was, and his slightly thin body shot into the sky like a sharp sword. Lu Qingxue was startled and looked at Lu Qian in astonishment. She heard very clearly that Lu Qian was calling Yili senior. Did they know each other? Qian, do you know senior? Lu Qingxue asked Lu Qian in a low voice. Sister, do you know senior too? Lu Qian asked in shock. Immediately, Lu Qingxue and Lu Qian looked at each other as if everything was conveyed without words. Senior, let me take you around. Lu Qingxue thought that she had neglected Yili for a long time. If she angered senior, the entire Lu family would undoubtedly suffer a catastrophe. Okay. Yili nodded. Lu Qingxue's words stunned the younger generation of the Lu family. What did they hear? How could Lu Qingxue call this person senior? How was it possible? In a day, the younger generation of the Lu family began to discuss who Yili was, what his background was, and why Sister Qingxue called him senior. Chapter 146, The younger generation of the Lu family was shocked. Who is that person? Sister Qingxue actually called him senior. Is he a super genius of the Cloud Peak Academy? Even if he's a super genius of the Cloud Peak Academy, Sister Qingxue doesn't have to call him senior. It seems that there's only one possibility. A young man of the Lu family said in a low voice. As soon as he said this, all the younger generation of the Lu family looked at the young man who spoke. How could it be? One of the youths asked quickly. The young man looked at Yi Li's receding back. He looked at the sun in the sky at a 45-degree angle and slowly said, "That's the senior that Sister Qingxue mentioned. Not only is he a powerhouse, but he's also a super powerhouse. Otherwise, why would Sister Qingxue call him senior?" Hearing this, the younger generation of the Lu family looked at each other in bewilderment. A super powerhouse? But that person looked only 2 years older than Sister Qingxue. How could he become a super powerhouse? Why are you all standing here instead of cultivating? Suddenly, a shout entered the ears of the younger generation of the Lu family. The younger generation of the Lu family trembled and looked in the direction of the voice. A middle-aged man in a suit walked over. The middle-aged man's face was gloomy and there was a shocking scar on his face, which looked very scary. "It's third uncle," a young man from the Lu family said in a low voice. The middle-aged man with the scar on his face was called Lu Kuei, the third brother of the head of the Lu family, Lu Xinghe, a Tier 5 evolved being. Lu Kuei walked in front of the younger generation of the Lu family and looked at the more than 30 disciples of the Lu family coldly. That's because the Cloud Peak Academy will come to the Huangjiang base city to recruit students. You should know how difficult it is to enter the Cloud Peak Academy. If you don't cultivate hard, you won't be able to enter the Cloud Peak Academy in this life. Lu Kuei said coldly. The younger generation of the Lu family seemed to be very afraid of Lu Kuei. They all lowered their heads, not daring to speak. "Tell me, why are you all here?" Lu Kuei continued. A young member of the Lu family mustered his courage and told Lu Kuei what had just happened. Lu Kuei was stunned to hear that. Although he was a little surprised that Qingxue was back, it was definitely not to the point where he was stunned. What really stunned him was that Qingxue actually called a young man senior, which puzzled him. Could it be that the young man was really terrifying? "Is what you said true?" Lu Kuei asked in a low voice. "Third uncle, it's absolutely true," the younger generation of the Lu family hurriedly said. "Where is Qingxue taking the boy now?" Chapter 147, Do I Have to Tell You That? Lu Qian hurriedly replied, "Senior, my father went to the Su family." Yi Li thought that he just wanted to meet him. Since he wasn't around, he might as well forget it. "Qingxue, you're back." A voice entered Yi Li's ears. The person who spoke was naturally Lu Qingxue's third uncle, Lu Kuei. "Yes, third uncle, the Cloud Peak Academy has a mission, so I'm just going home to take a look," Lu Qingxue said to Lu Kuei. Lu Kuei nodded and continued, "Qingxue, I heard that you brought a senior back. Where is he?" "Third uncle, he is senior," Lu Qingxue said. Lu Kuei looked at Yi Li and was a little shocked because Yi Li was too young. He thought to himself, Qingxue actually called this young man senior. Is this young man really terrifying? "May I ask who you are?" Lu Kuei looked at Yi Li. Lu Kuei was a Tier 5 evolved being, so he naturally couldn't tell what realm Yi Li was in. "Yi Li." Yi Li spoke slowly. Obviously, this was the first time Lu Kuei had heard the name Yi Li. "May I ask which base city Mr. Yi is from?" Lu Kuei thought that since Qingxue called him senior, this young man's background must not be simple. He had to be careful. "No base city," Yi Li said lightly. Lu Kuei was secretly unhappy to hear that. He was one of the strong masters in the Huangjiang base city after all, but this boy ignored him so easily. "Mr. Yi, you are a human, right? Since you are a human, you must be from the base city." I really don't understand if Mr. Yi is deliberately hiding it, or you don't want to tell me. Lu Kuei stared at Yi Li and said. Do I have to tell you? Yi Li said casually. Yi Li didn't understand. He came to the Lu family just to take a look. Why were these people from the Lu family so troublesome? What? What did you say? Lu Kuei was shocked. He really didn't expect Yi Li to dare to say such a thing to him in the Lu family. Mr. Yi, this is the Huangjiang base city, and this is the Lu family. Lu Kuei continued with a sullen face. Yi Li played with his fingers and didn't look at Lu Kuei. He slowly said, I know this is the Huangjiang base city, and one know this is the Lu family, but so what? Hearing this, Lu Kuei stared at Yi Li. Mr. Yi, aren't you overestimating yourself? Yi Li smiled and looked at Lu Kuei. Do you think you, a mere tier 5 evolved being, deserve to talk to me like this? Lu Kuei was even angrier. A mere tier 5 evolved being. How dare he say that? Lu Kuei was one of the strong masters in the Huangjiang base city, but in this person's mouth, he had become a mere tier 5 evolved being. Why did you come to our Lu family? Lu Kuei felt that Yi Li must have a purpose for coming to the Lu family. Unfortunately, not only was his feeling wrong, but it was so completely wrong. Yi Li smiled faintly. Do you think your Lu family is worthy of me coming here? Arrogant, absolutely arrogant. Seeing this, Lu Qingxue and Lu Qian were both shocked. They knew how terrifying Yi Li was and hurriedly said to Lu Kuei, Third uncle, please don't. Lu Kuei's face sank. He said coldly, Qingxue, Shao Qian, you are from the Lu family. Why are you siding with outsiders now? With that, Lu Kuei stared at Yi Li again. Yi Li, do you know how terrifying our Lu family is? Chapter 148, Yi Li, just you wait. Lu Kuei wanted Yi Li to know that the Lu family was not someone he could afford to offend in the Huangjiang base city. Your Lu family is just a small family. What's so terrifying about it? Yi Li said lightly. Yi Li, do you really not know how terrifying the Lu family is? Lu Kuei gritted his teeth and squeezed out these words. As I said, your Lu family is just a small family. There's nothing terrifying about it. Yi Li slowly said. Fine. Lu Kuei said good 3 times in a row, which meant that he was very angry at this moment. Yi Li, since you said that our Lu family is just a small family, 111 let you know how terrifying the Lu family is today. Lu Kuei almost roared. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Kuei raised his fist and punched Yi Li. Yi Li looked bored. Lai thought that although Lu Kuei was a tier 5 evolved being, he was still an ant in front of him. Red spiritual energy wrapped Lu Kuei's punch. The power of this punch was definitely not weak. Unfortunately, he was facing Yi Li, a 6th tier evolved being. Yi Li stood still as if he didn't see Lu Kuei attacking him at all. Lu Qingxue and Lu Qian looked at each other in horror. They naturally knew how terrifying Yi Li was. When Lu Kuei's fist was only a line away from Yi Li suddenly raised 2 fingers. At the critical moment, his 2 fingers caught Lu Kuei's fist. What? Lu Kuei was shocked. He would never have thought that his fist would be caught by Yi Li with 2 fingers. He tried to retract his fist, only to find that no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't pull it out. Yi Li looked at Lu Kuei's livid face indifferently. He shook his head and slowly said, How dare a small pearl compete with the sun and moon? What a joke. Lu Kuei was still pulling his fist hard, but unfortunately, Yi Li's 2 fingers were like iron pincers, clamping his fist tightly. Poor ants. You never know how high the sky is or how wide the earth is. As soon as he finished speaking, Yi Li retracted his finger and released a hidden force. Lu Kuei was hit by this hidden force and took a few steps back. Caught off guard, he fell to the ground. Yi Li's face was as calm as water. How could a small fry like Lu Kuei enter Yi Li's eyes? Lu Kuei got up from the ground with all his strength. He stared at Yi Li, knowing that Yi Li was not someone he could defeat. Yi Li, just you wait. I'm going to call my brother back. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Kuei left angrily. Yi Li felt a little bored. Why were there always so many tasteless flies? Senior, Lu Qingxue looked at Yi Li apologetically. She didn't expect this to happen when she brought Yi Li to the Lu family. The younger generation of the Lu family were not very obedient. Knowing that third uncle would definitely go to Yi Li after asking where Yi Li was, wouldn't it be a pity if they didn't watch such a good show? Not long after they returned to the cultivation center, they all followed him. The scene just now was completely witnessed by them. They gasped. They didn't expect that the third uncle of a Tier 5 evolved being would be so vulnerable in front of Yi Li. Chapter 149, Lu Xinghe, the head of the Lu family, senior, third uncle is going to call my father over. Look, Lu Qingxue looked at Yi Li carefully. It doesn't matter. I want to see your father anyway. Yi Li waved his hand. Lu Qingxue and Lu Qian looked at each other and smiled bitterly. Now third uncle has gone to call the family head. Do you think the family head can deal with that person? What are you talking about? The family head is ranked second in the Huangjiang base city. No matter how powerful he is, it's impossible for him to defeat the family head. That's right. It's not like we haven't seen how terrifying the family head is. Just wait. When the family head comes back, there will be a good show to watch. Yi Li felt a little bored, so he sat in Huaqing Pool, waiting for Lu Kuei to call his brother over. The younger generation of the Lu family looked at Yi Li's back and swallowed. For some reason, looking at Yi Li's back, they felt their souls tremble. Sister, do you think Dad will fight Senior later? Lu Qian looked at Lu Qingxue and asked. I don't know either. Lu Qingxue shook her head. Lu Qingxue looked worried. She knew that Yi Li controlled 4 6th-tier zombies. If they really fought, her Lu family would definitely be defeated. Suddenly, a middle-aged man walked over aggressively. The middle-aged man was wearing a mountain suit and had a scar on his gloomy face. The middle-aged man was Lu Kuei. Lu Kuei stared at Yi Li's back and said coldly, Yi Li, not only is my brother here this time, but brother Su Yao is also here. I don't think you know who brother Su Yao is. He's the eldest son of the Su family, the #1 family in the Huangjiang base city. He's a 6th-tier evolved being. It was not difficult to tell from Lu Kuei's voice that he was very smug at this moment, as if Yi Li's insult to the Lu family could be taken back immediately. Not long after Lu Kuei said so, a gentle middle-aged man and Su Yao slowly walked over. Needless to say, Su Yao was the father of Su Suner and Su Xiaoqiao. As for this gentle middle-aged man, he was the head of the Lu family, Lu Xinghe, a 6th-tier evolved being. Brother, it's him. Lu Kuei pointed at Yi Li's back. Lu Xinghe narrowed his eyes and looked at Su Yao. Although the Lu family was not the #1 family in the Huangjiang base city, it was ranked first. No one had ever dared to say that the Lu family was a small family. Besides, this person had actually beaten Lu Kuei. If he didn't take revenge, how could the Lu family have a foothold in the Huangjiang base city in the future? Brother Xinghe, I'm just here to take a look. This is your Lu family's place. It's up to you. Su Yao followed them for 2 reasons. Firstly, he wanted to see who this shameless person was, and secondly, he felt that if Lu Xinghe was no match for him, he could help. Since Xiao Fei, the leader of the Martial Artist Alliance, escaped, the Huangjiang base city had become the same as before. Now, the big clans naturally followed the Su family as their leader. Lu Xinghe stared at Yili's back and cupped his fists. Brother, who are you? Yili didn't turn around. He slowly said, it doesn't matter who I am. What matters is what you're going to do. Lu Xinghe was a little unhappy to hear that. No matter what, Lu Xinghe, was one of the terrifying existences in the Huangjiang base city. This person actually dared to be so arrogant to him. Lu Kuei said that not only did you say that our Lu family is just a small family, but you also hit him, right? Chapter 150, Don't let me beat you so easily, that's right. Yili said slowly, still not turning around. Lu Xinghe sneered. Then, as the head of the Lu family, if I don't take action, how can our Lu family establish ourselves in the Huangjiang base city? Since you want to attack me, then do it. Yili still didn't turn around. Lu Xing's face sank when he heard that. His temper was publicly acknowledged to be good, but he was angry today. He hadn't been so angry in at least 3 years. Seeing that the family head, Lu Xinghe, was about to take action, the younger generation of the Lu family all widened their eyes, fearing that they would miss something exciting. Lu Xinghe raised his palm, and purple spiritual energy entangled it. White tiger palm. As soon as he said so, a white tiger formed by purple spiritual energy pounced at Yili. Lu Xinghe had purple spiritual energy, which meant that Lu Xinghe had an S-class genetic talent. Yili, on the other hand, had an SSS-class genetic talent. At the same level, an S-class genetic warrior couldn't beat an SSS-class genetic warrior no matter what. To the surprise of the younger generation of the Lu family, Yili still didn't turn around. The white tiger palm was a skill that every genetic warrior of the Lu family knew. It was very powerful. When the white tiger formed by purple spiritual energy was only a step away from Yili, Yili activated the swift steps and instantly disappeared. The white tiger missed and disappeared. It's gone. The younger generation of the Lu family was shocked. They clearly remembered that the white tiger was about to pounce on Yili's back. At the same time, they knew that Yili would either die or be injured after this blow. However, they would rather believe that they could only live for 1 day than believe that Yili would disappear. When Yili appeared again, he was already dozens of meters away. With his back still facing everyone, he slowly said, Lu Xinghe, is that all you've got? As soon as he said this, Lu Xinghe was furious. Although Yili's terrifying speed surprised him, he was extremely angry that Yili dared to say that. Then I'll show you my real strength. Lu Xinghe said in a low voice. As soon as he finished speaking, Lu Xinghe raised his palm and shouted coldly, Lightning Thunder Palm. As soon as he said so, a terrifying power of lightning appeared on Lu Xing's palm. Boom! The terrifying sound of lightning struck at Yili's back. Finally, Yili turned around. He raised his finger and slowly said, I have a finger that can break the sky and earth. As soon as he finished speaking, a terrifying golden spiritual energy attacked Yili's finger. The one yang finger and the lightning collided heavily.